Hello, everyone. Welcome to Walk the Parks. My name is Blake. Today, we're going to do a full exploration of the Mossy Cave Trail in Bryce Canyon National Park. This is an absolutely amazing trail, pretty easy. Probably it's just about like a mile round trip if you do all of the main trails, and it's absolutely amazing. I love it. This is outside of the main area of Bryce Canyon National Park. It's about 4 miles. Like there's a big roundabout where there's a turnoff to like the main part of Bryce Canyon National Park, and this is approximately 4 miles to the east of that. If you want, at the end, I have a video kind of showing exactly what the parking lot looks like. There's also an overflow, like RV trailer parking as well, and you can see what that looks like to give you kind of a better idea of what the pullout looks like. Super scenic. Anyone who's been to Bryce Canyon National Park can vouch for it. This is a super scenic park. I absolutely love it. It is so beautiful. The Hoodoos, which are like these beautiful rock spires that are in this like orangish, whitish, brownish, just these vibrant, beautiful colors that look just absolutely amazing against the blue sky. It's absolutely wonderful. This hike is pretty cool because you get to go to Tropic Ditch Falls. It's this beautiful waterfall that we'll see here in a few minutes. But the crazy thing is that it's not really a natural waterfall. There's actually these folks who dug a ditch and created this waterfall. So it has been flowing for over 100 years, but it actually is water diverted from the East Fork of the Seaver River to irrigate fields around Tropic City. So pretty interesting, and the way they diverted it kind of went down here and made this beautiful waterfall, which is pretty cool. So very interesting. As far as why you would watch this video, number one is maybe you're planning to go to Bryce Canyon National Park. You're trying to kind of check things out, see, am I going to do this hike? Am I going to do that hike? This hike is awesome because it's short and it's probably the lowest elevation park. The elevation actually starts to get pretty high in Bryce Canyon National Park, to the point where if you're from a lower elevation and you go straight here, you might struggle a little bit with the elevation. Also, the canyon, like going down a lot of the trails. I mean, there are trails along the rim which are more easy, but if you go down into the canyon, it can be a bit steep. I will say, if you only can do one hike in Bryce Canyon National Park, I would make sure to go do the like Navajo and, well, I guess the Navajo and Queen's Garden loop. But if you can only go down for just a short amount, you don't want to go too far, go down the Navajo Trail. Absolutely amazing. Wall Street is really cool too. There's like two sides of it. You can do the Wall Street Navajo loop at certain points during the year, but Wall Street is also closed a good portion of the year, just due to rock fall, like for all of winter and then some. I don't know. It seems like most times I've gone here recently, which has not been during summer, but it has been closed. But anyway, we're not there today. Today we're on the Mossy Cave Trail. So I'm going to go first and start. I'm just going to read all the signs that you'll encounter along the way to give us some more information. So again, you'll watch this if you want to go to Bryce and check it out. Fantastic hike. Also, for those of you who might not be able to ever make it to Bryce Canyon National Park, maybe give this a watch and see just what it's like. I'm sure there are some really well produced kind of content about Bryce Canyon National Park, but maybe you just want to see what a whole trail is like, so you can check this out. I do have a couple other videos about Bryce Canyon National Park that you can check out as well, if that interests you. Lastly, just kind of something to keep in the background. Feel free to mute me. A lot of times I'll put these on just on one of my monitors while I'm working on the other one, just to have some kind of ambiance in the background to look up, and it's something kind of different and beautiful, kind of transports you into wherever the hike may be. And then also at the gym, I think it'd be cool to be, if you're on a treadmill, you know, this trail is pretty mellow, but there's a ton of my other videos that I think would be good. Just kind of watch them as you hike along, kind of imagine you're being here, crank your music, do what you do. So those are just kind of a few reasons to maybe consider watching this video. All right, back to my sign reading here. All right, so first off, at the trailhead, there's a sign just about Bryce Canyon National Park. And it says Bryce Canyon. Because no river runs through it, Bryce Canyon is not truly a canyon. Instead, it is a series of natural amphitheaters carved into the edge of the Ponsagons Plateau. Sorry if I mispronounced that. These bowl shaped features contain the world's largest collection of varied rock spires known as hoodoos. We welcome you to Bryce Canyon National Park and invite you to discover the sublime beauty and rich history of this land. Visiting the park. Stop at the Visitor Center for information, exhibits, publications, backcountry information, and park bookstore. Pick up a visitor guide for more information on popular activities and areas to visit. Next up is Know Before You Go. Leave no trace on designated trails, leave what you find, and take what you bring. Climbing is not permitted in the park. Dehydration, altitude sickness, and ankle injuries are the most common emergencies. Drink 1 liter of water every 2 hours. Know your limits and wear proper footwear. If you hear thunder, lightning strikes are possible. Move immediately to a building or vehicle. Avoid trees, hoodoos, and other tall objects. And I remember seeing a sign somewhere else in the park saying that there is a lot of lightning that occurs here, and especially like because the most popular area to be is on like the rim of the canyon, which is the rim is really the highest point. So that does kind of put you at more risk than a lot of other places. So just be careful. Help protect wildlife. Do not approach or feed any animal. Many wildlife deaths are caused by speeding vehicles. Pets are permitted on paved surfaces only. All right, so back to the video real quick here. We're about to take a turn and go up and check out Mossy Cave first. One thing I noticed on this trail is that uh, like it was a little bit confusing for a lot of people, like because there's not super clear signage as to where you go, and there are kind of a lot of social trails. So like right here, for example, you can either go straight and check out that beautiful waterfall I was talking about, or go left to actually check out Mossy Cave. And we are gonna go first and check out Mossy Cave. All right, so back to the sign. Here, pets are permitted on paved surfaces only. Keep pets on leash and clean up after them. Bicycles are allowed on paved surfaces only. They are not permitted on or below the rim. Drones are not permitted. Violators face legal action and fines. Report drones to the nearest park ranger. There's also an awesome shuttle bus within the park, so kind of keep that in mind. Consider kind of parking you can either park in the town of oh gosh, is it Ruby's Inn? I think it's called Bryce Canyon Village or something like that. Now we got like all these. Gosh, Bryce Canyon's an interesting place. You have like the park itself, which is beautiful, but then right outside you have like these rodeo grounds. You have this huge like general store, which is pretty cool. They actually have a better selection of souvenirs and stuff than most places that I've ever been. And it's pretty big stores too, and they have restaurants and stuff like that. But it seems to all be owned by one group of people or one business or something like that. Pretty funny. And enjoyable. You know, it's a little bit tourist trappy. It's a little bit fun. All right, so here we are approaching Mossy Cave right here, and it's not really a cave. Some would call it a grotto. Um, Kind of goes both ways. Hard to exactly capture it. Maybe it's the time of day that I'm here, but it is pretty cool. I'll read the sign here to you in just a moment. But this is Mossy Cave, and it kind of surprised me that I was here by myself. But I think that's kind of a testament to, like I said, this area being a little bit confusing. I'm not sure whether a sign is missing, like directing you up to Mossy Cave, or if it's intended like that, or if people see the waterfall and they're just drawn to that because it is so beautiful. Like the color of the water is beautiful, the rock behind the waterfall, everything about the waterfall is absolutely beautiful. So in a way, maybe it makes sense. People are kind of drawn that way, or maybe there's a sign missing, or I don't know. People are paying a little bit less attention than I was, so I got to see Mossy Cave. Anyway, a this streamside walk leads to a small cave that fills with summer moss and winter ice. At one time, water only flowed through Water Canyon after summer storms and spring snowmelt. After settlers completed an irrigation canal in 1892, water was diverted from the plateau above, steeply eroding these fragile canyon walls and feeding a waterfall that regularly freezes in winter. Help us protect this delicate area by always staying on designated trails. Know before you go. Stay on the designated trail. Watch for seasonally fast moving water. This is a challenging environment for plants. Stay on the trail and leave them for all to enjoy. Also, this trail just is about 8/10 of a mile or 1.3 kilometers round trip. It's rated as easy with a total elevation gain of approximately 150 feet. Even though there is no entrance collection fee here, I believe you are, like, this is a fee area, so you really should be paying a entrance pass, or if you have a park, like a yearly park pass or something like that. All right, so Water Canyon. This is not the sign we're looking at currently, but one that we passed a little bit earlier. And it says bog orchids thrive in a wet habitat and are one of the few flowers pollinated by mosquitoes. Their flowers can usually be seen June through August. Willows are found primarily on moist soil. Butterflies, ants, and bees feed on the leaves, bark, and flowers. Nootka rose, a spring bloomer, is native to the western United States. Wild rosehip fruit, used as food and medicine, is high in vitamin C. And then there's also the narrowleaf cottonwood trees along streams along streams in arid habitats. Seeds are surrounded by a soft fluff which looks like cotton. Water Canyon. Listen to the rushing stream. For plants and animals, it is the sound of life, yet it is also the sound of rapid change. In 1892, water for the town of Tropic was diverted into this once seasonal drainage, transforming Water Canyon into one of the fastest eroding areas of the park. Though nearby natural springs have long provided refuge for plants and animals, here erosion from the constant and rapid flow of water creates a demanding environment for new plants. Soil compacted by hikers creates additional challenges for life here. By staying on the trail, you help preserve the delicate and resilient beauty of this flora. So I agree, and you've noticed a lot of these signs we've read so far talk about staying on the trail. I fully support that, and I love rangers, love all the work they do. I know what a challenging job it is. Also, look at this background right here. Look at how beautiful that is. I don't know whether that's a bridge or an arch right there. That is amazing, kind of on the right-hand side of the screen. Colors are super vibrant. Look at this waterfall we're coming up to. This is about as good as it gets, you guys. I absolutely love it here. I hope you do too. What a cool park. However, um, man, it's hard. It's a little bit challenging to stay on the trail here because look, you have this trail um, and again, it's just kind of tricky, and I understand the huge challenge that the park employees have to contend with, right? Because you want people to be able to explore this and enjoy its beauty, but you also, you don't want to put signs up everywhere or like have guide rails on every single trail, like stay here, because you want people to enjoy that beautiful wilderness experience. But at the same time, there's all sorts of like social trails around here. And it's like, where do you kind of go? Like I said, people are kind of like, oh, where do we go? You know what I mean? They didn't even go up to Mossy Cave, partially because they didn't look at a map. But even here, right? Like I'm going down here and I'm like, okay, like, the trail kind of keeps going. But then I'm like, is this really the trail? Like I don't know. I want to obey the signs and I'm a huge proponent of leave no trace. Pack in what you pack in, pack it out. You know what I mean? There's no garbage out here. Really do your best to keep this area as pristine as possible. However, it's a bit challenging, right? Because there's this other really well-defined trail right there we were kind of looking at across the way. I believe there is a sign over there that says "Do not go." But as you can see, that trail is like heavily trodden. Like a ton of people have gone up there to check out those beautiful rock formations up there, which look really cool. It almost looks like a hedgehog with a shell on it. Did anybody see that? Anyway, but anyway, just my 2 cents. But very challenging job they have, right? Because you want people to explore this, but not over explore it. Because as you can see, as people do go off trail, it kind of becomes difficult to tell what is the trail and what isn't the trail, right? Like, am I right there? Was that the trail? I'm trying, I promise, but I just don't know. So anyway, throwing that out there, not a huge deal. Kind of my 2 cents I'm throwing out there. Also, look how cool it is that people just diverted water here. I think it's awesome. Like, 'cause it looks like it doesn't really seem like that. I mean, I'm sure this was a kind of the signs were kind of implying that it is a dry drainage. All right, so then I found the Mossy Cave benchmark, which is a metal disc below. on the I Hiked the Hoodoos challenge, a way to stay healthy and have fun in your national park. To meet the challenge, either find 3 benchmarks or hike 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, on trails that have benchmarks. See map in park newspaper or junior ranger program. Bring rubbings of the benchmarks or photos of yourself with them to the visitor center to receive a small reward. That's pretty cool, but I did not participate in that. And it does say the trail splits here, with each side leading to water that is crucial for life in a dry land. To the left, a natural spring seeps from a rocky cliff, watering plants as it has for untold time. To the right, Water Canyon is fed by the Tropic Ditch, an irrigation canal dug by Mormon pioneers in the late 1800s. Historically, this wash flowed only during periods of melting snow or heavy rain. Today, irrigation water flows May to October, bringing life to valley crops and orchards. And at Mossy Cave, this is the sign that was actually at the Mossy Cave when we were up there. It says at Mossy Cave, slightly acidic groundwater seeps through the harder limestone layer, dissolving and eroding the softer layers underneath. This cool, moist, shaded environment is a perfect habitat for mosses to thrive. As temperatures drop, the dripping water freezes, creating impressive icicles that sometimes last into summer. Help us protect this fragile environment by not entering the cave. Yeah, the cave is pretty cool. And based on the picture, and again, all these signs that I'm reading were included all the way at the beginning of the video, so if you feel free to rewind and check those out. But the picture on this sign itself of Mossy Cave in the winter looks fantastic, with some super icy. I have been to Bryce Canyon a couple times in the winter, and it's also amazing. The white snow, because we are at pretty high elevation, contrasting with the super orange, and white, like in the all the different color rock is just absolutely fantastic. So consider that. All right, so now we're going to learn a little bit more about the Tropic Ditch. It says bringing water to the desert. By 1874, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints had begun to settle in the Paria Valley east of Bryce Canyon. Arid conditions gave rise to a plan to divert water 10 miles or 16 kilometers from the east fork of the Seaver River to the cliffs of Bryce Canyon and down into the valley. Approximately 40 men digging with hand tools began work in 1889. On May 23, 1892, their work was completed, and water from the plateau flowed down through Water Canyon. The canal would become known as the Tropic Ditch, taking its name from the new town whose future this precious water secured. So, pretty cool. And the waterfall is absolutely beautiful. I like the color of the water is pretty cool too. So, all right, here we are approaching a little bit towards the end of our hike here. And what a beautiful one it was. Thanks so much, everyone who stuck with me this far. And as I said, really cool hike. If I could only do one hike, it wouldn't be this one. It would be the Navajo Queen's Garden Loop is the best hike for bang for the buck in the park. However, this park is awesome for hikers. There's the Peekaboo Loop, which is fantastic. You also have the Fairyland Loop, also fantastic. There's some really cool stuff. The Below the Rim Trail. I think I've been to Bryce Canyon like maybe 11 or 12 times now, and I never really get bored of it. It's just so beautiful. If you can only go to one viewpoint, oh man, maybe Inspiration Point is pretty incredible. Bryce Point, very cool. I mean, Sunrise Point, Sunset Point, it's all good. There's a couple campgrounds within the park that are fantastic too. Both of them, when I was there, were first come, first serve. But the best thing to do nowadays, but visiting parks, is for sure to look and see what the deal is. Like in the current, like regulations seem to be, we're on. I think with COVID, there's been like a post-COVID, like a huge kind of boom in people visiting. Now we're kind of recovering from that. But really, this whole recent era has caused a lot of parks to kind of revisit their management strategies, and a lot of that involves like kind of changing over to a reservation system or maybe permit system and things like that. So keep that in mind. Regulations kind of have been changing quickly, and for some places it's a little bit tricky to keep up with, because some places it's like, okay, we're doing a test for a year, and then some places decide, to go with that. Some places decide not to. Man, look at that view. So anyway, check regulations. When I went here, both campgrounds were first come, first serve. I was able to find sites, but there weren't too many. They're also kind of interesting, like pretty strict here in terms of like tents only, no RVs, RVs only, no tents. I believe was one of the campgrounds, but again, I might have the regulations slightly confused. My truck, I feel like fits in all of it though, because I'm just like, well, it's just a truck. So I don't know what the line is, like what between an RV. Somebody told me like permanent structure, and it's like, well, I can take the bed out of that I sleep on out of the bed of my truck. But anyway, I'm digressing away from the wonderful Mossy Cave Trail here at Bryce Canyon. And look at the views you get here. Also, if you continue down, like, first off, Highway 12 is absolutely amazing. Like the road that this trail is directly on, the road that Bryce Canyon is directly off of, like a little bit to the west of here, you have Red Canyon that you drive through, which is just absolutely fantastic. And Bryce Canyon too, you can get a ton. Like there's a lot for adventurous people there. Like you can go on pretty long hikes and enjoy that. But then also for maybe someone interested in more moderate or just kind of getting out of the car just a little bit. Bryce Canyon is also fantastic. You can just get wonderful views, and it's really such an amazing place. Now, Bryce Canyon does get pretty popular, but it doesn't get quite as much visitation as Zion. And, um, in a lot of ways, oh, do I like Bryce better? I can't say that. Everywhere is so beautiful. I love Zion. It's absolutely amazing there. I love Bryce. My favorite personally is the Grand Canyon, though, because it really rewards adventure. Like if you're willing to push yourself at the Grand Canyon, like it really rewards. If you carry a ton of food and a ton of water, you can go really far. But but nothing comes easy at the Grand Canyon. But it's just so amazing. That's my absolute favorite. Sneak that in here. So here we are approaching the parking lot again. As you can see, there is a bathroom to use there. There's a pit toilet. Thank you so much for all these services. Appreciate it. The trailhead sign, which I read to you. Decent amount of parking. And then, like I said, there is also that overflow lot. And as soon as we go a few more steps, we're going to cut over to me driving in my truck. I kind of have it sped up as well on the road. I'm kind of if I'm honest, I'm kind of a slow driver, really. I'm not really in any rush most of the time. I'm more of a leave 10 minutes early to make sure you get there on time rather than leave right on time and then rush, rush, rush type of person. But to each their own. So anyway, there's a sign right there that says like Mossy Cave quarter mile, and then it says the speed limit. And then so right here is the parking lot. We're gonna pull in. Again, this is sped up. I would never pull in a parking lot that fast. You can see all the parking spaces here, and they're all full. Just so you can check it out. Probably would not park here with any sort of trailer or huge vehicle. But if you go a little tiny bit further down the road right here, you can see there is an overflow lot, which is fantastic, and you can park in here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know if you go check it out. Like, what do you think of Mossy Cave? Was this okay? If you have any suggestions, compliments, criticisms, give me it all. Have a good day.